Hi, my name's James. I work for Bluelab. I started working for Bluelab in 2015, so coming up to 8 years now. I'm the regional manager for Bluelab, looking after UK, Europe, Middle East and Africa. I work closely with my colleague Rob, who's based out of the Netherlands, and between us we look after that area. Bluelab develop and produce meters, monitors and controllers, mainly for parameters of pH, conductivity and temperature. So Bluelab is a New Zealand company. We're very proud of that. We manufacture all of our products in New Zealand. Obviously we use some foreign components, but everything is manufactured, packaged and sent globally from our manufacturing facility in Tauranga in New Zealand. Our first product was the Bluelab truncheon. That was used predominantly by tomato growers in Australia. Giles, the founder of Growth Technology, was a commercial grower staying in Australia 20 some years ago, and he came across the truncheon. And then when he moved back to the UK and set up Growth Technology, he brought the truncheon across. And ever since then, it's been widely used as the #1 nutrient meter in the UK. We are now a global company. We have a sales team and distribution throughout North America, based in California in the US. We also have sales team in Malaysia, India, and then myself and Rob looking after Europe, Middle East and Africa. All right, so back in my school days, I studied chemistry, biology and physics A-level. God knows why, they're probably the 3 hardest subjects I could have picked. But anyway, so I've completed those. I went to Bristol University to study applied biological sciences. Dropped out of that, it was very, very dry, and I ended up going to Writtle College in Chelmsford. It's a little agricultural college, and I studied conservation, land management. And from there I got really into desert reclamation. And I studied hydroponics, so the ABC of NFT. And yeah, one day I was in Essex University. I was reading this guy's papers, just kind of randomly. I didn't learn to drive till I was like in my late 20s, so I used to hitch everywhere. So I was hitching back out of Colchester back home, and this guy picked me up, and it turned out that he was the guy who'd written the papers that I'd been reading at Colchester University. So I kind of saw that as a sign. I thought, right, okay, I need to kind of get into this. So I had a year off from college, and I decided just to go to the desert in Israel, where they discovered and invented drip irrigation. So I think had about $300 in my pocket, got a plane across to Israel, got a train, got a bus to the desert. I was so naive, just take me to the desert. And we got about an hour or so into the desert. I saw a little farm, got off, knocked on the guy's door. And then from there, he was growing flowers. So I helped him grow flowers for about 3 months. That was rather boring. So I ended up going up north to Kiryat Shmona in the north of Israel, where they were doing a brand new avocado plantation. And I got there just at the time for avocado harvest. And then they kept me on afterwards. They were putting in 240 square kilometres of brand new avocado plantation. So I just got involved in that. So I had a little volunteer team working underneath me. We started off by putting in the big pipes and all the smaller pipes, planting the trees. And I absolutely loved it. I love the idea of bringing life to an empty space, which is what it was. It was in the north of Israel, kind of a desert area. So after I came back from Israel, I finished my degree in conservation management. I specialised in desert reclamation. And that's what I wrote my thesis in. And then I was all ready to head off to a conservation project in Senegal for working for the United Nations. And then life kind of caught up with me, I met somebody, kind of wanted to settle down, have a family. So I ended up buying and selling produce in the UK for many, many years after that. So I used to buy and sell oranges, grapes, melons, stone fruit. Used to still very much talking to growers, but more on the kind of the account management side, selling into the likes of Waitrose, Tesco, Sainsbury's. And I was getting very bored of that, so I kind of put myself out there in around 2014, 15. And then someone saw my CV online, and they invited me to an interview for Bluelab. And to me, it was fantastic. It was like the circle had gone full scope round. So the things I was passionate from in my youth, life kind of throws you curveballs and you end up doing what you need to do to make ends meet, look after the family. And then coming to work for Bluelab, it was like full circle, back into hydroponics, back into water management. back into helping growers of all different kinds, everyone from the guy growing at home all the way through to commercial growing. So I'm really passionate about it. I love the job. I love the variety that it gives me, and yeah, and Bluelab's a fantastic company to work for, and I've met some really good people over the years. So yeah. When we first started, growing was mainly focused around hydroponics. Over the years, that's moved across to more substrate-based growing methods, so soil and cocoa. And Bluelab have developed products to meet that changing needs. So we do, alongside the meters that we do for nutrient solution measurement, we also do substrate measurement as well. So standout products would be from the Bluelab range, the Trunction, which was our first product we produced, our pH pen, the combo meter, and the Guardian. So we're a global company. It's really interesting to me how the products change depending on the area. So in the UK, it's really focused around the Trunction and the pH pen. In Spain, our Guardian is our #1 seller. And then in Europe, if you look at countries like Germany, Austria, Switzerland, it's combo meters, the combo meter rules. I see that thing zip tied up all over the place. So it's always interesting to me how different products resonate with different growers on a global basis. So along with our core range, so our meters, our monitors and our controllers, we also sell things like pH probes, replacement pumps, and all the things needed to kind of service and maintain our equipment. The other thing I have to mention, of course, is Pulse. It's a really innovative product. It's the technology isn't new. It's about 40 years old, but what we did is we developed it ourselves. We paired it with a phone. We just stripped out all the cost. We wrote our own algorithms, and you know, we made it available at a price point that is accessible to everybody. In the last 12 months, we purchased a company called Autogrow, another New Zealand company, and they take it one step further. So they do the nutrient tank control, but also with a fertigation add-on. And they also do climate control for single zone areas. That's their Intelli range. And then we also do our multi-range, which allows you to control and monitor up to 8 different zones. So 8 different nutrient tanks, 8 different climates. And that's really aimed at our kind of more high-end horticultural customers. So those products currently aren't available in the UK, but we're moving towards that. I'll have to mention the Trunction. I mean, it's just an indestructible product. It's got a 5-year warranty. Customers love it. It's so simple to use. It's got no digital screen. It's 100% analog. You can stir your tank with it, which I thought was nuts when I first saw it. So when I first joined Bluelab, and everyone's telling me how wonderful it is to stir the tank with a Trunction, I was like, well, you can just go and get a stick off a tree. What's the big deal? Why are you spending £80 on a stirring stick, essentially? And then I used it to grow. I grew some tomatoes in my back garden, and there's something about it. You're holding the stick, you're holding the Trunction, you're stirring the tank, you're adding the nutrients, the LEDs are flashing through the water. You kind of feel at one with your plants. And I think that's a great thing about the Trunction. It's kind of you and technology growing, and I think it's a wonderful thing. The other meter that I think is fantastic and very unique to Bluelab is the Pulse meter. I think it's underutilised in the UK, but that ability to really get down and dirty with what's going on in the root zone and then give the plant exactly what it needs. First find out what's in there in relation to how healthy that plant is. Trying to duplicate that is a really powerful thing. Yeah, having spoken to our development team, it took a long time. We developed it in-house. So that's a real triumph, I think. And those meters, I mean, they are available. The technology isn't particularly new, but those meters like £1,200, £1,600. So what we did is we got it to a low price point, trying to democratize that kind of reading so that everybody can have a go and have access to those kind of measurements so they can grow better. So products I like that we don't sell, I have come across some of these individual nutrient measurements. So they measure specifically the N, P and K of your growing solution, which I think is really, really quite neat. I mean, at the moment they're really, really expensive. They're not really accessible to everybody. And what do you do with that information? You can't really get single part nutrients readily available. But I think from a sustainability point of view, especially with a recirculating system, if you're able to measure the specific N, P and K of that solution, and you're able to adjust the deficient specific nutrient, and that will stop you having to throw out your nutrient solution every 1 week, every 2 weeks. It's far more sustainable. Extending the life of your nutrient solution does have other issues, bacterial issues and that kind of thing, but they're easily overcome. I think from a sustainability point of view, if you're able to individually measure and then correct those specific NPK elements of your nutrient solution, that would be great. That would be quite useful. So new products. Yes, we have got some new products coming down the pipeline. Like everyone else, we suffered a little bit during COVID with component availability and just a focus of the business on trying to produce and meet demand versus working on new products. But we have got some stuff coming out over the next 12 months. The first has been already released. That's the Bluelab Guardian Monitor Wi-Fi. We're going to be updating all of our Connect versions. The next progression from that is to update the pH controller and the Pro controller with Wi-Fi modules. And then the other exciting product that we're working on is a pH EC combo pen, which is it's something that's been available for a while. We've looked at the competition. We've identified areas where we think we can give it a Bluelab makeover. So that's a product I'm really looking forward to being released. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen drawings and it's in pre-production, but that's quite an exciting prospect for us. Yeah, so Bluelab as a company, and we're really focusing on kind of the art of growing for a healthier world. That has many different connotations. So healthier can be more sustainable growing, more efficient use of resources. The art of growing means different things to different people. It can be small scale, it can be large scale. We really want to make a difference in improving the sustainability of controlled environment agriculture, which at the moment is quite unsustainable, insofar as it costs a lot of money in lighting. A lot of the products are not easily recyclable or recycled, things like rock wool blocks and that kind of stuff that's being used all over the Netherlands. So that's where our focus really is. So it's kind of just our business focus is the art of growing for a healthier world. That's where the business is taking itself. Everything we do is kind of brought back to that main purpose. We've always tried to keep things very simple, very easy to use. We want to continue with that, but we want to be able to have like a high-tech kind of spin to it. So we want to give growers access to data. We want to just really help them in their mission of growing, regardless of where they're growing, regardless of where they are on the economic ladder. That's what we want to do. We want to really help contribute to sustainable agriculture going forward. Score out of 10 for growing. Well, I'll let you into a little secret. My house is quite dark. I've been killing all my houseplants. I've recently just replaced them all with IKEA plastic plants, which goes against everything I should be doing. But it's a dark house, so I've got an excuse for it. I travel a lot and I forget to water them. So at the moment, I give myself 2 out of 10. When I was doing it, I had a little greenhouse in my garden. We were growing vegetables, and had a little veggie patch. I was there a lot more, had a proper irrigation, and I did really well. I had fun with it. So in that situation, probably 7, 8 out of 10. Currently, 2 out of 10.